Hello there, GM Lurch Lurchington here for one more session of Star Wars Showdown on Iceball Station. With me as usual are our players and their characters. I've got the Bendu as Narset Jin.
Hellos and blessings.
Dan as Captain Morphythor.
Hey, everybody.
David as Master Zavik Silverstar.
Hello.
And, as always, our host Kyle as Zeef.
Hello there.
And we're back. Oh, well, give me. I'm gonna.
After
put this
these
lip
messages.
in. I'm gonna put the lip in before the camera's
Commercials.
rolling instead of putting it in on. I like the Trigun where it's just a sick guitar riff as we go in and out of the fucking bumpers for the commercials. Like,
Yeah.
I want this show to get popular enough that someone does a Cowboy Bebop
Yes.
pastiche opener with your
Yes.
characters as
That'd be
the
amazing.
silhouettes.
That'd be amazing.
Worm is already
That'd be
Jet.
pretty
He
great.
flies the ship and he has a cybernetic arm. Zeef is Spike Spiegel. He is a detective
Yes.
down on his luck.
Yes.
Narset Jin is Ed, and Zavix is Faye.
Damn, okay. Not Ed at all, but
Well, right, but Zavix is Faye. Do you want to be Ein? You can be Ein, but I want Stomper be Ein. Okay? You're the misfit. You're Ed. All right? You're a weirdo from a different planet who's got totally different steez from everybody else. But no, that's the one that doesn't fit, but Zavix is Faye. Or Fatal.
Could be worse. You could be Donnie from Wild Thornberries.
that would make more sense. We're actually
yeah,
looking
yeah,
at it story-wise. Like
like
that makes
the-
more sense.
Tarzan kid, right?
Yeah.
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 I'm seeing Raven from Teen Titans, actually, but
Arwen was the monkey.
I think Donnie was
Yeah.
actually like a
Arwen was
soldier
the
who escaped from Coney's army.
okay. Let's cycle that video.
All right.
His name
Cycle
was.
that video.
Oh, jeez.
Starting.
No one needs to see that.
Exactly. Delete that. Okay. And we're back. It's been a little while. And the pre-party part of the party is just ending. N4 is bringing in Kolvar, accompanied by Mr. Rathmith and Captain Food. And just behind them, the Rhodian gentleman, whose name eludes me.
Hixelplix.
Hixelplix, thank you, at the moment. Kolvar
Oh, you've been editing.
is beaming widely as he comes in. Mr. Silverstar, I saw that your paperwork went through. Excellent. Allow me to be the first to welcome you. And he gives you a huge handshake to the Expat Club.
I greet him with a
Huzzah.
cheers and a huzzah and all that funness.
Excellent. Captain Thu, with Mr. Rathmith behind him, proceeds around the table to you, Warham. He is saying that he observed your time trial from the casino here. And he thought you made a very good time. He's, of course, as a member, he won't be allowed to bet at the casino tomorrow, but hopefully he can trick one of those Imperial bigwig into making an even money bet, you against Halloran, because he thinks, frankly, that you've got a good shot. Maybe not at first place, given the impressive time that the Hut Racer had posted, but certainly at taking second. And he'll definitely be betting on you to beat Halloran with one of the Imperials tomorrow. This is the first Zavix that it's been made obvious to you that now as a member of the Expat Club, and of course the man who organized the race, it would be highly unethical and certainly unprofitable for you to be able to bet on the racers in the race, against the house. You are now the house.
Well, I look forward to seeing us get a profit on this. I think all the races
Yeah.
are going to bring home a decent amount in, and I look forward to seeing the casino profit from this.
And Kolvar claps you on the shoulder as he gets himself a drink and says, "That's exactly the kind of attitude that we take here at the Expat Club. But, of course, if you wish to make any private bets among members or personally with any of the clientele that, well," he puts his hand down and he looks at you frankly and drops the fancy speech and he goes, "Honestly, let's take those Imperials for every credit that they have
I'm loving it.
tomorrow."
Yes.
Let's have some fun.
Yes.
He goes, after the time trial today, we've posted the odd that the patrons will be betting using tomorrow, but as they stand, I think it should be easy for you to talk any of the Imperial into betting even money between Captain Warm here and their man Halloran, which is even odds, I believe, for Halloran to take second place, but better than the payout that the punters will be getting if Captain Warm takes second. He goes, "No offense to you, sir," and he nods, "but the times that Tyrell fellow put up in the time trial, well,
So
they
weird
don't
his
make
name is
things
Tyrell.
look good for the expat club." He goes, "But if that's what it takes to appease Vork, I can see why he threw a ringer into the race." And he grumbles about that. During the time trial earlier today, indeed, Lubba Tyrell, the Hut Cartel pilot, did astoundingly well in the first lap of his time trial and certainly made him the heavy odds-on favorite to win the race tomorrow. So, the payouts and all of the odds are adjusted commensurably. And Zavix, I actually did work out odds based on
Yeah, I saw that.
point values from the time
Nice.
trial, just to calculate like what kind of bets you should be able to make with, like,
I think the only other
the
information
Huts or the Imperials.
the only other information I want to get out of Kolvar, maybe I can do that narratively here in a minute,
Yeah.
would be like, what are people betting on? Like, what's the crowd favorite? What is everybody? Because it kind of tells me where maybe the stormtroopers would be betting as well. And if I know where they want to
on
bet,
their pilot, on that dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Oh.
He
sure
says
they're
that
betting mostly on Halloran since he's
Exactly.
he's the
Okay.
hometown
it's sort of
boy.
it's basically, indeed. He says that the house is fairly split. Where we've opened betting to the workers from Vork's operation because of his involvement, and they are all betting heavily on Tyrell to win. They don't have a lot they can bet, so the safe bet, even with its small payouts, will do something for them. A lot of our returning clientele is betting along the line. There's a lot of differentiation between whether or not Warham or Halloran will take second place, frankly, but because of the time trial results, it's odds on that Lubba Tyrell will take first, and it's a lot of, okay, well, is it going to be Tyrell then Halloran or Tyrell and then Warham is where a lot of the differentiation between the bets that are being placed is coming down. A few of the more foolhardy Imperials have already placed bets for Halloran to take the whole thing, but really,
Loyalty
it
bets.
seems like the race is between Halloran and Warham for second place, based on the time trial yesterday. And
Okay.
a lot of the betting reflects that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
All
because
right.
Tyrell just blew it out in the time trial. Like,
Is there any way for us to short the thing in light of recent events, but short the thing? So if we know that someone's not going to finish, or if we know that, like, we know for a fact Worm's going to finish.
Do we know that for a fact?
Yeah.
I mean, no offense.
So
No
the-
offense to
him
your
out.
piloting abilities, but like it's up to the dice.
so
It
yeah,
is.
so
It
the
is.
so
Yeah.
the this race. Well, I'll explain that. This race is following the
failure.
standardized galactic racing rules, which is to say that I looked at the two published races and I built a race that follows the same rules that they do. If
Okay.
Cool.
as players go through the stages of the race, they generate points for each leg of the race, and then which is a factor of their speed and how well they did on each leg of the race, which is sort of like how fast you were going plus, time penalties. But instead of having a low score,
Yeah,
you're getting a
getting
higher score
penalties
because it's
kind of,
easier
yeah.
to add
Right.
numbers than subtract them, basically. So, if a racer drains their ship out and doesn't finish the race, they don't win, sort of thing. And then the person who was in second would win, even if someone else had a higher point value. So, but otherwise, if everyone finishes, then the guy who made the most points going through because he was fastest and didn't lose points for having to loop back because he failed the lap, kind of thing,
Fastest
will be the guy
mostest.
who
Yeah.
exactly
Okay.
mostest points equals
Yeah.
fastest time through, and Lubba Tyrell blew those numbers out. Now, some things might have happened off camera, meta narratively, where actually Worm's going to have a fair shot at winning the thing. But in the time trial, Lubba Tyrell blew the shit out, and Worm and Halloran were literally fighting for second place the entire time. And that is a narrative translation of what happened in the time trial,
Gotcha.
based
Okay.
on
Okay.
actually
Okay.
running this race that's gonna happen in game. So the
All
odds that we made are based
So
on a real time trial.
let's move on to the. Then I definitely be we're super happy about this new race coming up.
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely play out the Imperials and take as much money as we can from them.
Yeah.
I think that would be an extremely smart move. So
Yes.
maybe I'll make a bet with the ISB agent, or maybe we can kind of work that out. Maybe I give Kolvar kind of a nod, and I know just the person kind of thing.
Okay. Well, a quick calm call later.
I think a quick calm will be really good. Maybe we can
Yeah.
get Halloran here as well.
Okay.
Oh, snap.
Oh, yeah. I think that would. So, a calm call later, and
Oh, and
Griff Halloran, as well as Baron Sarmatelek, and the lieutenant commander whose enthusiasm for race had sort of been the impetus of this entire enterprise on the part of the remnant, have appeared along with a rather disgruntled looking sick Ranchez and a pair of remnant stormtroopers whom they leave outside in the corridor. Ranchez shoulders his way through the crowd of Imperial remnant, makes his way directly towards the bar at the back of the room, and just sort of flashes you a sidelong glance as he passes Zavix and says, "Thought you were going to do something about these fascists," as he makes his way back towards Drix. Agent Vonko and the Imperial officers are here along with Halloran now. N4 is looking to you after announcing them. Master Silverstar, more guests have arrived.
Welcome, all. I hope to celebrate the upcoming race with you. Welcome to the Silver Star Suite. Offer drinks, all that kind of stuff first.
Lieutenant Commander Diller and is very enthusiastic to receive your greetings. He looks around and remarks kind of naively, "Wow, this is a really nice suite, especially compared to what they've got us in." Selleck, and he elbows the mustachio pilot beside him. He grumbles and continues to try to make conversation with Halloran, who is already heading away from the rest of the party, back towards Warren, who's back in the corner. He sort of nods awkwardly to the members of the expat club as he proceeds. Agent Vonko sniffs at your greeting and says, "Oh, I'm glad to see that it's going on. Unfortunately, due to the business that my men have been involved with down in the town, my investigation might take a little longer than I thought it would. So we'll have to close our business here. But
I'm glad tracking me is one less thing on your mind, and aren't you glad to see that this is getting done? Why don't you enjoy the night and join us in the festivities?
go ahead and make that charm check, Zavix, to get Agent Ivanko to come around. These other two Imperials are actually
difficulty?
here. Just a moment while I pull up my ISB agent. It's going to be 2 reds and a purple.
Got it. Green, blue. Can I get a boost dice?
Yes, you can. N4 is approaching with drinks.
Fantastic. Well, failure with 3 advantage.
Okay, so she does not look like she's biting on the whole, like, let's be social, angle. But with the advantage, the other 2 Imperials graciously take the beverages and raise them towards you. If you have a drink on hand, they'll, say to the race.
To the race.
Vanko takes a seat and just begins like scanning the room and being a ISB agent at a dinner party, basically. But the Imperials are mainly here now at the kiddie table, while the rest of the party has moved
Nice.
over to your fine dining there.
And Reigns of Castamere start playing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and
I'm-
walk over towards Kolvar real quick.
Cool.
Tap him on the back and whisper over to him. I'm not having much luck tonight. Maybe you can take a stab at it.
All right, he's going to go work on the whales while we move the camera to the other characters here in the dining area. Warham, Captain Sood had come in a little earlier with the others. He's come over and joined you across from Zeef, where you're sitting there at the head of the table, and has been, remarking on how he watched you fly the time trial, and he thought you, that hut. I watched this take off. Honestly, I think he was juicing his engines. He seemed to have some trouble when he took off on his time trial, and then he recovered too well. Honestly, I think you might have him tomorrow. He's saying lowly, as Mr. Rathamith is sort of there by his side and just listening to the conversation between the two of you doing
I think
the ship talk.
Say kind of, I agree, Captain Thude. I mean, I was still, even by the end of the second lap, I was only kind of just starting to get the hang of all the peculiarities of how she flew. I mean, these other 2 have been flying their starships for decades, maybe. This was only my second time in the cockpit here, and I think we'll definitely give them a better run for their money tomorrow.
Well, Vin Diesel that shit.
Yeah.
Captain Thude says, "Well, you handled her quite well, despite your inexperience with the craft, sir. I'll hope that when all of this is wrapped up, before you leave world, I have a chance to check out your own vessel. I understand you're a freighter captain, and I see them coming in and out up there at the landing platform all the time, but I can't really get away from the club too often to take a look at the ships up close. Mr. Rathamith likes to keep me close at hand."
Well, I don't know what you're going to be doing or where you're going to be watching the race from, but if you accompany to do some tuning up tomorrow before the race, I'd be happy to let you have a look at my craft. We just got her out of not impound. What would the word be?
Impound?
Landlock.
Would be
Landlock.
impound. Landlock. Yeah, out of the docking locks earlier today. So I'd be happy to give you a brief tour.
He says, I suppose there will be, and then I could watch the race from the takeoff platform. And he sort of, puts his fingers to his chin, considering that. Rathamith leans over and puts a hand on his arm and says, Aaron, we were going to watch the race together, weren't we? I know, Rafe, but I'd like to watch the ships take off up close if I could. It'll be like being back on the carrier. And Mr. Rathamith starts to chew this over and goes, I suppose, but I'm coming with you. At this point, the remnant has come in across the room, and Griff Halloran approaches. He has removed the life support system that he was wearing when you met him earlier, but he's still wearing a sleeveless flight suit as his sort of normal attire. And he's pushed his way past to the rest of the remnant who are talking back there by the entrance to come over to the table.
Toolbox.
He gets a drink and then sits down across from you, Narset, just past Food and Rathamith, and leans
Hold on, sorry.
over.
Hold that thought.
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry, I had to open the door.
That's all right. The other two stepped away as soon as you went, so.
I was expecting the racer dude to just like in a obnoxious French accent be like, Ricky Bobby.
Oh no. This is like Griff
Isn't the
Halloran.
Imperial racer?
Yeah. Griff Halloran.
Is the Imperial racer.
Yeah, exactly. Lubba Tyrell is an Alina, and he is like, he's got the same last name as the Alina racer from the pod race, as like a reference.
I
But
wish
when
you
I
would
think-
retire.
When I think
I need
Tyrell,
you to beat me, Warren.
Leaky
I
Bobby.
need your snail body to defeat me. To retire.
Look at this giant Ithorian that you've got to fly against me.
It's me.
How can he even fit in the cockpit?
Look at you.
This giant man with his eyes on stalks. Is it so you can see in both directions? As I approach
Really, I
and
think
then
you're
pass.
beautiful. Oh my god.
No, he's an alright guy. That's why he's not hanging out with the other end. He's like...
And for some weird ass reason, the Imperials just like him.
Yeah, because he's like got fucking Imperial cog tattoos and like, like he doesn't follow their politics, but he is an Imperial Navy veteran and he did like serve kind of thing. So like he knows he's got fan, but it's sort of what he's stuck in. He's like a heel racer, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. He comes to town and all the Proud Boys go and come out and cheer for him, and then he's like, fuck. And then he leaves.
Guy that everybody loves to hate.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Everybody else comes out and boos him. Exactly. Somebody has to lose the race. So, all right, I'll recycle that line.
Is he Tom Brady then, since everyone like hates him?
I guess.
Because he wins all the time? Is that the idea?
Well, no, they hate him because he's an imp, but he doesn't. He wins about even numbers, I'd say. But Halloran has just approached after leaving the rest of the Imperial group over there at the kiddie table. He comes over to the gets himself a drink and then comes over to the benches that are here on either side of the like family style Pantoran setup that Zavix has had arranged here in the Silver Star Suite. He sits down between Kintera and Rathamith and then leans out into the center table. He looks down at Zavix and raises his glass and says, "I think it's going to be a fine race tomorrow, Mr. Silverstar." And then he looks the other way to Warham at the other end of the table, and he says, "And I hope one of us beats that cheating Hut son of a bitch." And then shoots back his drink and puts it down on the table. He folds his arms and then just sort of sits here and absorbs the... Did I drop out there? Or no?
No.
Okay, you guys froze. He sort of folds his arms there and then just sort of, like, is part of the group. But he doesn't have anything further beyond that that greeting to me. To use Zavix and Warm. You're muted, David. Oh, no, you aren't. I just didn't hear you.
No, I was just going to say that's about all. As long as I've greeted everybody, everybody's got the shots going.
Absolutely.
And
Everybody's in and going and talking. Exactly. Kolvar's been working on the...
Yeah, what's Kolvar's progress on that?
Well, let's see.
Hey, Worm, did you guys want to do
Kolvar's
anything
not
weird?
doing very well over there. The Imperials are going to be betting against the house instead of making any sort of private one-off bets. They see that the way that the odds were stacked in favor of the Hutt cartel after the time trials, and frankly, they think it's the sort of obvious move that's being made, and they're not exactly trustful of the setup that's going on after the time trial. They're like, we see you obviously cottoning towards the Hutts, and then setting up your own man here against Halloran, sort of deal. But the fact that the Hutt racer was allowed to blow out the time trial, they're like, you're not even trying to set up a fair contest here anyway, sort of thing. We're not going to bet privately with any of any of you. Is the mood that they've got going, based on the fact that I generated a bunch of dark sides on Sky that I rolled to see if Kolvar was doing well or not.
Narset does take a moment to look over and ask Zeef where he plans to be viewing the race from, since obviously Zavix is going to be stuck with the aristocrats. Worm's going to be racing, obviously. Yeah. Narset looks over to Zeef asking where he plans to be hanging out tomorrow.
Zeef chuckles to himself and says, Misa grew up on Nar Shaddaa. I can tell you, the best place to watch any race, general admission. You don't get the highfalutin fancies. You get right in there. You got a Doug on one side. You got a Gagoran on the other. They both smell weird as fuck. Everyone's yelling stuff. You get the real local flavor. So Misa can tell you, the best place to be is right there in the crowds with everybody else. Feel the excitement. You're welcome to join me if you want.
I think I will, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're gonna be in for a show.
Hanging out with a Gungan, I can't imagine too many people wanting to start trouble.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We can handle ourselves.
Ignoring the fact that she's a Jedi.
Yeah. All right. Zeef, I think you had a destiny point you wanted to flip.
Well, I did, but it does not appear that any unnamed stormtroopers arrived in this remnant group.
They had remained outside when I set up their initial arrival. They did arrive with an accompaniment of stormtroopers who remained outside in the corridor. And just didn't make it onto the map. So indeed, a couple of remnant bucketheads have been standing.
I don't know how to convincingly put myself within earshot of their conversation in the first place. So I think I'm just going to abandon that idea.
You could leave the room to have a smoke break.
Why would I smoke in the fucking hallway? There's a balcony in this place. I was thinking about that. I was like, there's no reason for Zeef
in this place.
There's no reason for Zeef to go out into the hall, and there's no reason for these stormtroopers to keep talking when someone leaves the party about some sensitive stuff. So I just can't.
Like you're hanging out.
I think it's too much of a stretch.
Hotel hallway.
In the interest of saving time, I'd rather just not do it anyway. I'll work it into like another session or something.
All right, that's fine. In that case, we're gonna close out on the party going on and come in on race day when we come back, you know, and end with this if we don't have a big punch, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just can't think of a way to implement it that doesn't feel weird. And also, I don't have any, like, I don't know. I have to pull some evidence out of my ass. I just wanted to tie that off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll just hear some troopers somewhere else, because we'll see more troopers.
What about, like, because they would be they'd be on, like, their comlink or whatever, right? So maybe, like, like the officer, like, puts, like, his comlink down on the table or something where you are, and you can hear, like, them, like, you know, conversing over it.
I thought your idea of using a decimal point to send Stomper out there, you know what I mean?
I mean, that could work. That narratively has already happened. The thing is, I'd have to, unless I hear the voice coming out of a specific helmet, then that voice could be any one of the stormtroopers. So I have to see the guy to be able to be like, it's him, you know?
No, I get that. Okay.
If it's a voice, it could be any one of them. No, and I already know a stormtrooper did it, because I assume a stormtrooper did it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's which stormtrooper?
I will figure out a place that it makes sense for Zeef to hear that information, because
Cool.
the party scene can just be a party.
If you're down in general admission tomorrow or something, I mean,
the troopers will also.
There will be troopers. Yeah. That's true. I could arrest him during the race.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Or something. Figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. That's going to be it. I'm not doing XP for the social. We're going to get 25 more by the end of the thing so that you all are at 500 earned. But, I mean, yeah. So,
cool.
That's good.
Yeah. You know, and I didn't want to go into race day until next session. And then
no, sure, this should be its own thing.
The setup for the race, I'm going to do very quickly at the beginning of this session. So whatever it is that you want your character, you know, like I'm gonna do the whole set. Oh, it's race day and everybody's here, and I'm gonna position your characters with who they are, and then you'll get to okay, we're eavesdropping. I'm gonna make a bet with a couple of people. Warham's prepping for the race, and then Ree and Dan doing the die rolls for the race is gonna take. It took us an hour and a half. Because we wanted to do a 2-lap race with multiple stages, and just actually the race mechanic makes that take amount of time. But it's the kind of thing where the game mechanics actually translate to the narrative. So it'll be like, no, they're taking off and he's in the lead kind of thing. So like it'll turn into me actually being able to describe the race that is rolled out as it actually happens based on, oh, and he misses the ring, having to double back. But Halloran zooms in and blah, blah, blah. Like, so it should be some good shit. And it's also going to be a demo to you guys of how space stuff goes, because in Season 2, these same race mechanics are going to be the mechanics by which we do some Mad Max shit where you're all going to be involved.
We're all going to go on the Fury Road.
Me and Dan learned how to do this race, and rolling out the race takes time, but I don't want to like do it separately. Like
and if you guys like have stuff that you want to like,
we can also do it
during
the race.
During the race,
you know what I mean? Like in between laps, or like
that's fine
they've gone across the bay. That's the first 2 legs, and now you guys get to react to the fact that they took off well, kind of thing. Or, you know what I'm like, we'll narratively.
I will let Stomper just wander around the stands while I'm watching the race, and he'll overhear it, and then I'll go over to where he's at and find the stormtrooper.
Absolutely.
And that'll be the one thing. That'll be the one thing I try and achieve during the session.
Use Stomper as a drone.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna have it be an incidental thing, like at the Destiny point. Like he wasn't looking for information; he just stumbled upon it. So.
And happened to
like so
be
exactly.
right place, right time.
On race day, Narset, Zeef, you guys can make bets based on like the actual odds. Although Narset's got nothing, but Zeef, you can actually make some bets with like the actual odds, and then you'll get a payout based on who won with the odds. Zavix.
Where am I betting at? Yeah, because I didn't get to bet with the Imperials then.
Right. So tomorrow on race day, when Agent Vonko isn't sitting right there eyeballing them and buffering, you will be able to bet with the Imperials on like whether or not. So they'll be willing to bet with you like one up, heads up, you know, we each put in, and then you take the pot for whether or not Warham or Halloran takes second place. Because or you know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Like which one of them is going to beat the other, we'll say, so that if he actually wins, he still beat Halloran and you win, kind of thing. And against Hut aligned characters, you'll probably they'll definitely bet 1-1. You know that Warham's not going to beat Tyrell because he's definitely not, but you might be able to make a check to get even better odds to one of them, you know what I mean? Because like their guy's definitely gonna win. So you'd be like, oh yeah, okay, well if you really think he's gonna win, like how about we do some odds on that? Because the odds for him to win are like great kind of thing. So you'll be able to bet privately against the Huts, you know, for Warham to beat Tyrell, which in their eyes are never gonna happen. But
can Narset use alter to change
neither
temperature?
of our guys are gonna win. Narset can use alter to make terrain difficult terrain or impassable terrain, but difficult terrain can be like it's really fucking cold and it's difficult to travel in.
I was thinking more specific and localized. I was thinking like changing the burning hot energy inside of a really fast racer engine to make it freezing cold inside instead.
There is a different force power that allows you to manipulate vehicles. There's literally like telemechanics where like you through the force interact with a vehicle's systems and can affect them that way. It's a way to give your speeder bike a back rub and make it go faster using force, basically.
But you can't use it to slow down a pursuing vehicle or something.
Probably not. You would use move. You would use move to grab something that's that big.
Yeah, the difficulty check of something.
Right, but we're going. In my head, I'm going for subtlety, for something that plausible deniability.
Would you say, Narset, you have a skill that makes people's skill checks more difficult for them to make?
But I don't know if I have to be specifically interacting with that thing in order for its skill check to be
right.
Right. If it's not like their next check or whatever. Otherwise, you could cast
like how you
it
have to touch
Halloran.
someone to do sense mood kind of thing.
Right, but you could like cast it on, like it's tomorrow, so you couldn't like do it on Halloran now.
I mean, are you asking me to like try to Professor Snape this shit?
I was thinking you could Professor Snape just in a way that has plausible deniability. Like, if you make the engine short out in some way, hey, the engine just shorted out. But if suddenly the ship gets lurched to the side, clearly someone did that, you know? Like,
no,
I was thinking of a subtle way to slow him down.
I mean, like, there could be air currents and other weird shit
may
like
add
that.
2 difficulties to one NPC's skill check.
Okay.
I will let you use that remotely during the race as long as the ships are physically within view and you have line of sight, I will allow you to use that. Okay? Just like I said, I would let Zavix try to use force move.
With the bludgers.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I sneak up there and just Sebulba that shit and just like snap something off real quick?
If you want to use your,
I will.
Your thing I'm doing before, right at the beginning of next section, you're each going to get to do a thing before the race. And then we're going to set up, now it's the start of the race, and we're going to do the race and deal with what you're doing. But if your thing you do before the race is go do some espionage, fuck yeah, absolutely.
I figured it out.
It'll be a stealth check and then a mechanics check.
Check this out. I will send Stomper to go snap something off of the Hut Racer, and on his way back to me, he will hear the Stormtrooper conversation.
Done. Yeah,
like, so on his way back from fucking up the Jewel of Yavin,
he will thing about if you want to sabotage the other racers, so just
that was written in one of the 2 race modules that we based this on. Has like a sabotage phase.
So those are my objectives for next time. Dog sabotage.
He's not going to do it himself.
Don't tell Warham. Don't tell Warham. He just wants to beat these guys.
Warham doesn't know. Warham doesn't know. This is meta from Zeef.
But yeah, Zeef is taking matters into his own hands. That's perfectly, that's fine.
And Zeef, it's a ham-fisted way to help his friend because he thinks he's helping.
We on all our rolls to sabotage the other players, and Worm gets the most boring race of all time, where they all die, all this competition blow up at the start of the race, and you just calmly go through each one.
Just lazily go through. Like.
Yeah, he just walks around the bases,
fucking
like,
pod racer that like all the engines explode right at the start.
Quadraneros.
And that's the thing is that it all comes down to the die rolls. So absolutely all of that can happen. And that's why we're rolling the race during the game, because based on their speed and the difficulty, there's always literally you can't fly this race without there at least being one red die on every die roll. At least one, because they're...
Oh yeah, I guess if you were going speed.
So Patrick, the way that I would use alter...
theoretically, at any point, somebody can crash into the side of the fucking mountain or whatever.
Right.
So when you guys are doing loop-de-loops through the factory, someone might literally miss and just slam into the inside of the fucking volcano or whatever, or one of the towers. And then fucking Narstead needs to make force checks.
I mean, that's what happened to Rat's Terrell.
No, I was going to
say
she would use alter and sort of like Thanos the situation and like summon a meteor storm all of a sudden.
Right. Makes
blow
sense
up
too.
one of the other racers because they're like, oh shit, meteors.
Send an entire flock of birds directly into the engine.
Exactly. So we've got all kinds of ways to fuck with this during the race. But also, it'll be going like so fast. It'll be like, we'll do a couple of rounds of race. And it's like, okay, now.
Does this mean Vork is arriving tomorrow? Because Vork is arriving to see the race.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Vork
morning.
was talking to you.
While you guys are.
Who is the Imperial racer who was just talking?
Vork is the Hutt who runs Iceball.
Vork is the Hutt, and Spider's his guy.
He's the boss of Spider.
Imperial racer is Griff Halloran. The Imperial NPCs with names are Agent Vonko, Lieutenant Commander Diller, and Baron Somtellen.
And the soon-to-be-introduced TK69420.
TK69420.
Who's my suspect.
Absolutely. All right, gentlemen. A good evening to you all.